At last, someone had finally put me in my place. Nathan, my brother, started a slow, mocking clap that bounced off the restaurant walls while the sting of my mother's slap burned across my face. 55 people watched my humiliation at what was supposed to be my promotion celebration dinner. But none of them knew I'd been secretly recording every family gathering for 2 years, or that the FBI agent whose daughter I'd rescued from drowning last summer had handed me his personal number, telling me to call when I was ready to reveal what was truly happening at home. The sound of the slap was sharp enough to freeze the entire steakhouse. Forks hovered halfway to mouths, conversation snapped off mid-word, and servers stood frozen like statues. My cheek throbbed, but the real pain was watching my father lean back in his chair, that familiar smirk tugging at his lips as he drawled, "Serves you right, Gabriella. Maybe now you'll learn your place." My fingers trembled as I pressed them to the hot mark left by my mother's ring. Around us, my extended family sat in a mix of shock and satisfaction, Aunt Diane nodding in approval, Uncle Christopher staring anywhere, but at me, cousins shifting uncomfortably. This was meant to be my night, my celebration. Instead, it had turned into another trap. Nothing to say for once. Mom adjusted her blazer and leveled me with the same icy stare I'd known since childhood. "Good. Maybe you'll finally stop humiliating this family with your delusions of grandeur." Delusions. That's what she called my promotion to chief financial officer at 32. That's what she called the accounting irregularities I'd uncovered in the family business. That's what she called the truth. "Cat got your tongue, Gabby?" Nathan sneered, still clapping slowly. "Or are you finally realizing nobody wants to hear your little theories anymore?" I rose slowly, my napkin slipping to the floor. "You're right," I said quietly. "I'm done talking. Sit down." Dad snapped, his voice still holding the edge that used to terrify me as a kid. "We're not finished here." "Yes, we are." I picked up my purse, my phone still recording inside. "Enjoy your dinner. Enjoy your celebration. Enjoy everything while you can." "Don't be so dramatic," Aunt Diane scoffed. "You've always been too sensitive. One little correction and you act like the world's ending." One little correction. That's what they called public assault. That's what they called years of financial fraud. That's what they called systematic abuse. "Gabriella, if you walk out that door," Mom began. "You'll what?" I cut her off. "Cut me out of the will." Too late. Dad already did that 3 years ago when I refused to sign the fake audit. Fire me from the company. You can't fire someone who's already quit. Ruin my reputation? You've been trying to do that for years. I scanned the table one final time, committing their faces to memory. They believed they'd won. They thought they'd shattered me. They didn't know the breaking had happened long before, and from those shards I'd assembled something they couldn't fathom. A way out. I said simply goodbye and walked away. Behind me, Nathan's laugh floated after. "Let her go. She'll be crawling back by morning. They always do." The valet handed me my car, the sensible sedan they'd ridiculed me for driving while the rest of the family paraded their luxury cars bought with stolen money. I paused in the driver's seat, fingers brushing the sting on my cheek, then unlocked my phone. 3 calls. That was all it would take. The first was to Special Agent David Martinez. "Gabriella." His voice tightened instantly. "Are you ready? They just assaulted me in public. I have it recorded and admissions about the fraud, the tax evasion," and I took a breath. "The murder." Silence on the line. "Then how soon can you get to the field office?" 20 minutes. I'll have a team waiting." "Gabriella, are you sure? Once we start this, there's no turning back." I thought of Uncle Jonathan, who died in a boating accident 2 weeks after uncovering the pension fund theft. Of Cousin Marie, whose brakes apparently failed after she questioned the numbers. Of all the relatives who'd had suspicious accidents after crossing my parents. I'm sure. The second call went to Harrison Whitfield at the Wall Street Journal. "Ms. Romano, it's almost 9. I have the story you've chased for 5 years. Dynasty Industries fraud. Everything. Documents, recordings, everything." I could hear him sit up. What changed? They just revealed themselves in front of 55 witnesses. "How fast can you assemble a team for this?" "Give me an hour." "Where do you want to meet?" "FBI field office. Agent Martinez will coordinate." "The FBI is involved." His voice sharpened. Gabriella, just how big is this? Bigger than Enron. My family's been looting pension funds, manipulating stocks, and removing whistleblowers for 20 years. I have proof of it all. Jesus. And you're certain, Mr. Whitfield. They just slapped me in public for suggesting we maybe follow accounting rules. Yes, I'm certain. The third call was the hardest. I sat in the FBI parking lot, staring at the contact labeled M. She picked up on the first ring. Did they hurt you? Mom slapped me in front of everyone. Nathan applauded. Silence. Then I'll kill them. No, Marissa. We do this the right way, the legal way. Gabby, I'm your girlfriend. I'm allowed to want to murder people who hurt you. And as a federal prosecutor, you're really not supposed to say that out loud. She laughed, but it sounded thin. How bad is the damage? To my face or to their empire? Their empire can burn. I'm worried about you. I flipped down the visor mirror. Mom's handprint was still there, a red brand across my cheek. By morning it would bruise. I'll live, but in about 6 hours they won't want to. Are you ready on your end? RICO charges are prepped and ready. The moment the FBI verifies your evidence, I can have warrants in an hour. Gabby, your whole family's going to prison. Not the whole family, just the guilty ones. That's still most of them. She wasn't wrong. Of the 23 members of the Romano family empire, maybe 4 were clean. The rest had dirty hands in varying degrees. Some for routine tax evasion, others for murder. I'm walking in now, I told her. I love you. I love you too. Be brave. I was brave. For 6 hours, I sat in a conference room with FBI agents, forensic accountants, and federal prosecutors as we laid out 2 decades of evidence. Financial records showing hundreds of millions stolen from pension funds. Recordings of my father ordering hits on whistleblowers. Videos of my mother bribing judges and politicians. Documents proving Nathan had been running drugs through the family's shipping company. This recording from tonight, Agent Martinez said, and played the dinner audio. Your mother admits to knowing about your Uncle Jonathan's murder. Listen at 7:23. I said right after she slaps me. Mom's voice crystal clear. You want to end up like Jonathan? Keep pushing. Keep threatening this family with your righteousness. Let's see where it leads. That's a direct threat, one of the prosecutors murmured, an admission on record. But there was more. I opened another file. 3 months earlier, Nathan and Dad talking about Marie's accident. Nathan's recorded voice filled the room. Brake lines are cut. Make it look like normal wear. Dad's reply. Good. Make sure the mechanic stays quiet. Last thing we need is another Jonathan mess. By 3 a.m., they had enough evidence to get warrants. By 4 a.m., 3 SWAT teams were already in motion. By 5 a.m., I sat in a hotel under protective custody, watching the news on my phone, waiting. The first alert pinged at 5:47 a.m. Breaking. FBI raids multiple sites in organized crime crackdown. Then my phone lit up with calls. Everyone declined, but the texts told their own story. Nathan, what did you do? Mom, how dare you betray your family? Dad, you're dead to me. Aunt Diane, I hope you're proud of destroying everything your grandfather built. Uncle Christopher, Gabby, I'm sorry. I should have defended you. I should have spoken up. Too little, too late, Uncle Chris. By 6 a.m., the news coverage was relentless. Helicopters showing FBI agents leading my father away in handcuffs. My mother screaming about lawyers as they hauled her out in silk pajamas. Nathan sprinting from his driveway before being slammed to the ground. At 6:30 a.m., Harrison's expose aired. The Romano crime family. How a dynasty built on fraud and murder finally collapsed. My phone rang. Marissa's voice. 23 arrests so far. Your evidence is airtight. We're looking at life sentences for your parents and Nathan. The others will get lesser charges, but still serious time. The company seized, assets frozen. Pension funds will be restored with the proceeds. I thought of the retirees who'd lost everything. The families shattered by my family's greed. Finally, they'd see justice. Where are you? Marissa asked. Safe house, I said. Watching the news. Watching it all burn. How do you feel? I touched my cheek. The slap mark had faded, but the bruise beneath was darkening. Free, I said. For the first time, I feel free. They'll come after you in court, she warned. Character assassination. Claims of jealousy, instability. Let them try. I've got recordings of every threat, every confession, every crime. They can't gaslight their way out of video evidence. Your mother's lawyer is already on TV calling you a disgruntled ex-employee with delusions. I laughed. Delusions that somehow produce 20 years of documented fraud? That's a hard sell. You know you can't ever go back, Marissa said quietly. Even the family members who weren't arrested. You're dead to them now. I was dead to them the moment I refused to be complicit. This just makes it official. Do you regret it? I thought about that slap, my father's smirk, Nathan's slow clap. 2 decades of being told I was too sensitive, too dramatic, too righteous. 20 years of watching them ruin lives while living in luxury. My only regret is not doing it sooner. Maybe Marie would still be alive. Maybe Jonathan. You can't think like that, she said softly. You survived. You got out. You're bringing justice to all their victims. That matters. She was right. It did matter. By noon, the Romano Empire was in ashes. A century-old dynasty built on crime, toppled by 3 phone calls from the daughter they dismissed as weak. The irony wasn't lost on me. They'd raised me to be smart, meticulous, to document everything. They'd given me access to the books, trained me in the business, invited me into the inner circle. They'd created the perfect witness against themselves. And when they'd gone too far, when that slap echoed in a crowded restaurant and my brother applauded my humiliation, they triggered their own destruction. My phone buzzed with a final text from an unknown number. This is your cousin Tony. Just wanted to say I'm proud of you. Someone had to stop them. I'm glad it was you. Stay safe. Maybe I wasn't as alone as I thought. I switched off the news and closed my eyes. Tomorrow would bring lawyers, testimonies, and more threats. But tonight, for the first time in my life, I could sleep without fear. They tried to slap me down in public, thinking it would silence me. Instead, they'd set me free. And in freeing myself, I'd freed everyone else they held hostage through fear, fraud, and murder. 3 phone calls. That's all it took to end a criminal empire. That, and the courage to make them.